God! How are you?
I'm good, I'm good. The car runs. We made it through the weekend. We didn't blow it up. I mean, we fought the whole weekend with it, but we had a good time.
We got Dewey here. I'm Larry Chen. We're at Gridlife, Midwest, at Gingerman Raceway. And behind you is your very stock Subaru.
100% stock. They came straight from the factory floor, exactly like this in 1995. It's kept quite pristine.
So back in 1995, did they vape?
I don't think so. I don't think that was even a thing. I don't even think that was a thing.
It's a recent invention, right?
Yeah.
So
Subaru people didn't always vape.
What did they do back in 1995?
They rallied. They rallied. There was this guy named Colin McRae. He was amazing. He drove cars that looked a lot like this, ripping through the woods, and gave us all dreams that we could be that. And then, fortunately, he died in a very tragic helicopter accident, and now Subaru owners vape. That's what happened.
R.I.P. But legitimately, I had a chance to sit in one of his rally cars in Japan at the Subaru.
I watched that episode. Yeah. That was really good.
Like, going through the gears like, But anyways, you know, he's inspired so many people in the motoring world, including yourself, and I think probably that one.
I guarantee Kendall was thinking the same thing. Yep.
This thing, it's one of those things, like, we've had a chance to shoot so many cars here, right? So this is car number 8 in terms of things that we've shot this weekend at Gridlife. And my favorite part about Gridlife is I literally can shoot something slow and low. I can shoot something completely stock. I can shoot a tube chassis, and then I can shoot a drift car, and then I ended up shooting a Subaru also.
Just a Subaru.
But from the outside, honestly, it looks pretty subtle in terms of a race car.
Yep. It kind of has to be due to class limitations, though. I mean, I run street modified.
Right. But this thing is so fast. And last night when I was watching you go, I could not believe how bright the rotors were glowing. Going into turn 4, you essentially are creating light.
I saw pictures after. It's the first time I've ever been able to trust these brakes. And it's also, last night, since it was dark, I couldn't quite see the brake markers quite right. So I think I was maybe pushing a little harder than I was during the day. Now I know I can and would have pushed a little harder, but it's raining and I can't. But G-Lock sent me their gnarliest pads they could, and they work. They really work well with these new Z06 calipers I got. They really, really work. Oh,
it's a Z06 caliper?
Yeah, I got Corvette parts on this thing. I actually got them from him.
Nice. Well, because what people maybe don't realize is, you know, I've been shooting racing for so long, and I love getting the glowing rotor shot, right?
Yeah.
That's such a quintessential shot, especially when you're shooting 24-hour racing.
Yeah.
Because
you have to. It's showing the night.
Yeah, you go through the whole light cycle, but the crazy thing is you're running street tires.
Yes.
You're not even running race slicks.
These are Falcon RT 660s, their new tire, and they are grippy, but they're only a 255 width. And I'm surprised I can get that much heat into them. When I first built this car, I figured because it was fairly light, and I was gonna have a lot of horsepower, but I'm on a street tire, I thought STI Brembos were gonna be enough, and they just weren't. I'm blown away at how much heat I can get into these brakes. It's crazy.
I mean, and also, last night wasn't a warm night either.
It was cold.
It was so cold, but
and it was also, it was raining. Like, it wasn't a dry session. It was still kind of crummy out there, and I could still get enough heat into them to where they'd glow that much.
Yeah. Well, can we check out the engine bay?
Yeah, definitely.
So this honestly is the highlight of your build.
This is what we do at 6-Star.
It sounds so crazy, sir. Like, when you're coming around, I can hear you from so far away.
That's what everybody says.
It's so loud.
Well, I'm half deaf.
And it sounds really, really good.
I am.
Is it because of this car?
Oh, it's actually because I had a tumor removed last year, and they had to go into my head for it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it is what it is.
But, you know, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're racing, and I'm glad you're able to share this wonderful noise.
The only way I get to hear this, though, is when people take a video of it. But the problem is a video, everybody tells me, dude, it just doesn't do it justice. And that sucks because I want to experience that sometime. So I think I'm gonna have to throw the keys to somebody one of these days just so I can hear it. Maybe.
Anyways, tell us a little bit about this motor package.
Sure. One of the weird things that we did, as opposed to a lot of the people who run Subarus in the States, is we went with a 2-liter. The cylinder walls are a little thicker, the rod ratio is a little better, the oiling's a little better, and we lose about 800 RPM down low of power, but we gain it all up top because we can rev this thing to 9 and it just laughs at it. Which is one of the reasons it sounds so good, is because we're revving the living crap out of it.
Wait, so the 2-liter, it was only available in Japan?
The 2-liter STI block was only available in Japan. This motor itself, actually, IEG is one of our main sponsors now, built this engine for me. It's a closed deck 2-liter block with all the goodies in it, a Spec C crank, some nice rods, some nice pistons. But they did their closed deck process on a 2-liter. This is the first production closed deck 2-liter they've done. The heads are super simple. It's a set of version 8 STI heads. There's not even any porting done to it. GSC cams, some nice valve springs. It's all very off-the-shelf stuff. This thing sounds really rowdy, but it is really off-the-shelf for what it's built with.
No, that's interesting you say that, because I don't think I've ever seen this sort of build, I guess. I mean, because I guess it just doesn't exist.
Everybody does 2.5s, and
right.
This is, I truly believe in this philosophy, and I believe one of the reasons that Subarus have a lot of issues is they're throwing around a big 100mm massive piston, and the rod ratio isn't great, yet it's still a fairly small displacement engine, so you do have to rev it to make the power you want to make. So if you're gonna rev it, you wanna make sure you got good rod ratio and the rotating assembly is nice and light and it's happy at high RPMs. The piston speeds on a 2-liter are way lower at high RPM than a 2.5. So it's a lot easier on the engine and you make more out of your timing. So when that explosion does happen, you get more out of it up top.
And that's the thing, is that's the replacement for displacement, is reliability and also more boost, huh?
And a big BorgWarner EFR 8474 turbo, that is the replacement for displacement.
That is one huge sucker. That's bigger than my head.
It is a monster. It's a big turbo for this engine, but we mapped it out and it works really well for the RPM that we put it at. We run really short gearing so we can keep it at a higher RPM.
What did this dyno at?
Over 600, less than 7, but not too much less than 7.
I mean, it's pretty hairy.
And on low boosts, we're a little more than 600, and that's all we ran this weekend.
Like, I see you sideways pretty often out there.
You have to drive it like a Group B rally car because I'm on street tires. You know, and it doesn't make a lot of downforce. I'm not allowed to due to the class limitations. So you have to drive it like a Group B rally car. It's sideways a lot, and I got to use everything I can leaving corners. It is rowdy.
Is your suspension, because you're running what, Fortunato?
Yep, Fortunato 2-ways.
And is that something where you've tuned to potentially kind of give you a little more leeway in terms of?
Yes, and one of the reasons I work with Fortunato is due to the way their piston functions. It's a digressive piston, and it works really well when I'm smashing track curbing because I tend to do that a lot, and it keeps the car fairly settled. I don't get tossed around too bad.
Just smashing curbs.
They hate me because they're constantly having to fix my my suspension, but they're awesome.
They can't hate you for winning.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
So is this is obviously tubbed?
It is tubbed. I actually bought this chassis from a guy named Brandon Cocker in Canada. He did a lot of global time attack and Canadian time attack stuff, and a lot of the chassis work had already been done. I bought just the chassis. It had a really nice cage already done in it. I was working on a GC sedan at that point, and then this chassis came for sale. It gave me such a good deal and I needed a cage still, that I just went and purchased this, and he had already done the tubs on it. The tub, one of the things I love about it is due to the shape, it actually made for great ducting for my oil cooler setup. So air comes in here. This is a fan, and it blows air through the oil cooler using this as a duct. So
I see. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it worked out really, really well.
So the air goes here. Yep. Oh, I see. And then this is like
out the top.
Got it. Okay.
Which is why
exits out of here.
Yep.
Okay.
I stole that from Mark Yeager, and he reminds me of that every time I talk to him.
That's cool.
I stole the radiator from, this is a takeoff from one of Will All Young's cars. He sold it to me for a song. It's a Ron Davis set up for his car specifically. And it was literally the perfect shape for me to shove it under the radiator, the stock radiator mounting. So that helped out a lot. Gave us a little more space in the front of the car.
Can we go check out the interior? So putting down that much power, how's the transmission able to handle all of this?
STI 6-speeds are pretty stout. One of the things that we're running this on a Haltech 2500 ECU, their flat foot shifting logic is really, really good. So I can keep my foot to the floor, and as long as I'm accelerating, when I bang gears, I do not have to lift off the throttle, and it keeps the car fairly stable. When I was having to totally lift to shift gears, not only was I doing more damage to the transmission, but it was really unsettling the car. Now that I can flat foot shift on acceleration, I'm not dual clutch fast, but it's pretty close, and it's unreal how fast I can go between gears. But internally, this thing is a stock STI transmission. I mean, there's nothing fancy to it. It's a JDM trans, so it's got the shorter 5th and 6th, but other than that, there's nothing fancy to it.
And then do you have to modify the center diff or the front and rear LSD at all?
No, I'm on totally stock differentials right now. That's something I do need to improve in the future. There's definitely time and differentials in this car, and it's something I'm going to be looking into, and probably in the off season. But as it stands right now, no, the only fancy drivetrain component that I really have is a carbon fiber drive shaft.
It seems like, I mean, from the outside, it's all function.
Yeah.
It seems like a pretty straightforward build, but like you have so much.
There's a lot of little things going on.
It's a lot of development on your side
Yes.
to get things to work, it seems like.
Well, here's one you probably haven't noticed. You look right here.
Right.
That is the ABS unit.
This.
Yes, that's been relocated from the front to back here. And we have that running completely standalone because all of the wiring has been redone in this. So we don't have the stock wiring or anything to even power that. So we have it giving it signals from all sorts of stuff, but it's that hunk of the harness we had to build totally separate just to make it function. There's a lot of small things like that where we move things around in the car to give us to give us a little more space, and where could we put it that would put weight in the right spot, and that's why the ABS unit's right there. That actually was a leftover of Brandon Cocker also, but making that work, that was fun because we had to run it totally separate. He was running stock wiring in his car. We had to completely separate all the ABS stuff to make that function. That was a rough one.
So does that actually help? Like, do you actually hit ABS when you're actually driving?
Oh, when I'm going really hard, something on like Road America, where you just got to trust that you're going to stop coming into one. I mean, this hit 169 mile an hour in Road America. So
Wow.
This year, with the power we're making, so next coming year, I hope we had 175.
175 miles.
Yeah, we're going to be all with 6th gear.
I mean, how much more RPM do you have left at that point?
Now that we up the RPM a little bit, we'll have it. We should have a little bit left. So
This thing is just so rowdy.
it's crazy to drive.
It's so cool to see you around track.
So one of the problems we have with this whole thing, the steering wheel doesn't actually sit directly in front of me. That was a leftover of the build again before. We need to modify that. So as I'm trying to like control this monster, my wheel's not in front of me, it's over here. So
And the pedals are straight.
the pedals are straight, so everything's kind of like I'm in this one position and the wheel's over here. So this car's a monster.
That's pretty much every old school Porsche, and
That's what I'm told.
I think the Dodge Vipers too is like that.
Oh really? Well, I don't feel so bad. Guys have ran some decent times in those.
But no, it's just cool to see you out there, and it's fun for me also. I know it's time attack. I know it's not wheel to wheel racing.
Yeah.
But when I see you come around, and then for me as a shooter, I'm kind of looking out for marker cars.
Yeah.
I need to see the cars that are ahead of you, and then I know to get ready for you.
Yep.
That doesn't work with you, because what happens is I'm waiting for the marker car, and then you come around because you pass the marker cars.
I do that a lot.
It's time attack. It's time attack, sir. It's not wheel to wheel racing.
But it happens in the straights because this thing just makes buku amounts of power, and so I end up making a lot of speed in the straights. So I end up passing a lot of guys even they're full throttle in their time attack car, and I just drive right around them. And it doesn't slow. It's the safest place for me to make passes, but yeah, it screws up photographers all the time.
Thanks, Dewey.
I try.
Well, thank you so much for showing us this build. We've been following it all weekend, and I just couldn't wait to
That's awesome.
to check it out.
I'm happy I could chat with you, and I've been following your channel for a while, so I think this is
Awesome.
super cool.
Well, I have some stickers for you.
Yeah, sweet.
I know you probably are out of room for
Now we will
any
find room for
Hoonigan
stickers, don't you
autofocus
worry.
Stickers on this.
He really gives you a sticker so he doesn't forget that he already did a video on your car.
Yeah, exactly. That's the mark, you know? It's like, I did a video on your car. Yay!
I will definitely get these on.
Yeah, that's a wrap for this video, but we're still gonna keep shooting at Gridlife. We got another Subaru that we're gonna feature. It's right there. Hi! Hey, Leaf.
Hi.
Say I hate you because it's raining. Yeah. If you guys want your own Hoonigan autofocus sticker and Larry Chen Peaker sticker, definitely check out my Etsy store. That's kind of your way to support Hoonigan autofocus. Go to etsy.com/shop/Larry Chen photo. Every single print comes with those stickers. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.